Welcome back, and I thought I'd give you guys an update. The bottom is finished. The original, let's see, it's warping again. The original was 5 layers, but if I had made this 5 layers, it would have stuck. It would have protruded too far down from the cabinet, causing the feet on the sides and the front to not line up to where they used to be on the cabinet. So 4 layers it is, but unlike, well, it's pretty rigid. The cabinet has been prepped and stripped and repaired and glued. As a matter of fact, I'm starting to think that this project, or this cabinet, is going to be more glue than wood. I ended up having to buy another bottle of the Tight Bond because I used almost 2/3 of a bottle of excuse me, glue on this as it is. But anyway, it's trimmed and glued. The cabinet, as I mentioned, is here. You can see from these dark spots, it's still actually drying out. Despite the fact that this was so dry, I just could not get all of the finish off, and I ended up having to use the citrus strip, which I don't really care for because it takes too long, and despite its pleasant orange smell and safe to use indoors, stinks. In fact, if you guys have never used it before, it smells like those little tiny cans of orange oil air freshener. But it smells, it's pretty strong. But anyway, be that as it may, I guess it's better that the house smells like strong orange smell than cat litter. Anyhow, as I said, it's coming along. It's all nice and glued back together, and I still have to deal a little bit with the back here. I still could not find that piece, so I sort of managed to whittle one into place. It's got a little bit of filler here and there, and a little bit over here. I was unable to get this to completely go back to shape. Yeah, bring the light over there. Because as I was bringing this in, it started making grunting and creaking noises, which basically I interpreted as, if you keep this up, I'm going to split. So it's just a smidge out of shape, but you can't really, I mean, unless somebody really inspects it closely. Another issue I've got to deal with is these missing pieces here. There's a layer missing here. I mean, there's 2 pieces left here, and then on top of this goes the strip of veneer. I ended up buying the veneer locally instead of online, and I really should have bought it online. I'll put a link to the site that I should have gotten some from. They can be pretty pricey because they do the veneer they do is for, you know, super high-end furniture. However, they do have a spot on their website, which I will put a link in the video to, where they sell these sheets they call Big Boy, and it's still grade A. But, you know, it's like $18 for a couple of square feet instead of 45 or 50. So the veneer I bought, I'm not sure what size it is exactly. I'm assuming it's 1/64 or 1/16. But what I'm going to use is, I've got them flattening out because this is a little bit wavy, but I don't know what I did with the other sheet. One of the sheets split on me, which is what led me to believe I needed to flatten it out. Plus it's dry. But basically, these are the sheets I'm going to use. And actually, I'm going to pause this for a minute and get my other light. I forgot to get my spotlight. Hold on one second. Okay, I believe that's a little bit better. So, as I said, I've trimmed them up and they're ready to glue on. Basically, there's a strip that goes across here, but it's going to go from here down to here, because this lip here is for the bottom piece. And, well, they'll line up a little bit better than these are, but basically they're going to go on like so. And the fun part's going to be cutting these out. My veneer saw will be okay, I think, for the, these long sections. It's going to be just rather fun slowly slicing out the other pieces as my lamp starts to fall. I'm a mess tonight. Alrighty, so I was gonna embellish, and when I realized how thin this stuff was, it was cheap though, so I can't complain about that, but I almost was going to embellish and use mahogany and do a book matching, although I guess, oh, well, there's the paper tape, but this radio is, I thought it would look really nice with that on there, as much of it would come through because of all the holes. I do not have an attachment to this radio, which has kind of been making this project sort of irritating for me. Because as you know, you kind of have to get a little bit of an attachment of some sort to these things, especially when they're as difficult as this one's been. So I'm not going to waste $20 worth of mahogany veneer on a radio I don't really care too much for. Anyhow, so I'm going to try the walnut. If that doesn't work, it's going to significantly prolong this project because I'll have to order some thicker. Because as I mentioned, this stuff is so thin, I'm almost afraid to use it. But, I mean, there's... Look at it disappear. There really isn't a whole lot of room on here. In fact, I'm going to have to use like number 3 steel wool to take these... I don't know if you can see the slight scuffs from it from manufacturing, but anyhow, it was cheap and you get what you pay for. So this will fit back together. I think I discovered that now that this is, interestingly, it's going to end up going in upside. No, I guess this is the right side. I left there were still marks from manufacturing in here, but this will fit in here. Oops. Correctly. So it will fit in, and it's still a little bit warped. I guess I still have to trim a little piece off up here. So it will fit in here like so, and it does protrude out a little bit in the back, but it's actually supposed to. And so it will fit back together. Let me grab the trim pieces. I pre-sprayed those for 2 reasons. This wood was so dried out, I was afraid that if I waited to tone them before I put the, after I put them on the cabinet, I was afraid that they were going to do exactly what they did do, which is immediately soak up the first 5 or 6 passes of the toner. Just went right into the wood. And I ended up, just on these trim pieces here, using up half a can of the dark walnut Ultra Classic. What did I get? Dark Walnut. Which actually is going to bring me to another thing I wanted to point out. Anyway, so here's the front piece. It'll go in like so. It fits the way it's supposed to. I don't know if this is the correct. These pieces, believe it or not, aren't interchangeable. One side is a slightly different length than the other. Anyway, so it will go back together. The other issue was that one of these, the one that was on one side that was missing the most of its finish, should be the other one, was warped pretty bad. Perhaps I should be a little more careful. Alright, there we go. So it'll at least give you a slight idea what it's going to look like. I still need to rub this down a little bit since it's a little uneven. I had to hurry yesterday because I knew. So there you go. I mean, that's part of it. I knew yesterday was going to be the last day. I guess that's about as flat as I'm going to get these. Was the last day we were going to have 70 degrees before the weekend. Plus, there was no wind. And so I knocked off work a little bit early to finish these, to go ahead and tone this up. And as you can see, even on the side here, it still isn't shiny. It was still soaking it up. But it's a little darker than I wanted, but it was starting to get dark and I couldn't really tell. So that leads me to what I was going to point out. Something that I did, and you guys should just be careful of. Let me guess, I did not get it out. I did not get it out. How rude. Yeah, let me double check. Yeah, I did get it out. Okay. Mohawk, in their infinite wisdom, under their ultra classic toner line, I guess technically one of these is not necessarily dark walnut. Well, I mean, it's not, I'll tell you that for sure. They have two items labeled dark walnut. One is dark walnut number, the higher the number, I think, the darker they are. Don't quote me on that. Actually, see, no, I got it backwards. So this here is the one I had bought. I picked it up off the shelf because I saw dark walnut in there. Well, dark walnut is not dark walnut. It is more like, it's lighter than, it's between medium walnut and light walnut. The one that I meant to get was the dark walnut and oak. I don't necessarily like to use the extra dark walnut because I think it gets too black too quickly. Which is okay for some things, but otherwise I just think it's too dark. That's just my opinion. So it's great for the lines along the sides here, but when I've used it on trim pieces, like I said, I might as well just use black paint. Anywho, so I think that's pretty much it. I did order parts for, oh yeah, and that's another thing. When I stripped this, I realized there's two nails in here, and I got to deal with that because now they're all glued together. So we'll see how I can deal with that without breaking the thing. But anyway, so I think that pretty much wraps it up as an update. As soon as this dries out, I'll be able to wash it down a little again with some mineral spirits. I see there's still some residue left from the orange, the citrus strip. But just giving you a progress report. So hope I didn't bore you guys, and hopefully I'll be able to get those pieces on this week. And as long as all goes well, I'll have it trimmed up, and then it'll just be ready for the next nice day. I'll probably put I'm going to try putting medium walnut on the sides. They're going to come out pretty dark as it is. Plus, first I'll have to put on some sanding sealer. I'm not going to go through the process of using my grain filler. I'm just going to go ahead and use sanding sealer this time. There's a lot of damage where there's mold had grown, and I tried a little bit of bleach, but it just didn't seem to want to work. And there's a really scary little pattern down here from the mold, which you can see. So it is very possible that I may end up using the non-opaque toner on this. I haven't decided yet to cover that up. Or maybe I just want to leave it because it's, you know, part of its character. So I suppose I have all week to think about it. Anyhow, thanks again for watching, and I'll catch up with you soon.